everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the Nonsense Zone. We're in double digits, Len.
It is 10. I forgot. Oh,
10.
damn it. I was going to say we should celebrate the 10.
Should be a marquee. This is a marquee accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
Congratulations, Andy.
Congratulations to you, Len. We're a little frazzled because we kind of rushed production on getting started today, and nice that today is the last day of winter. Tomorrow's the first day of spring, and I walked home in like a whiteout snow. So there's that.
Kind of odd.
Forgot my earbuds, so then I had to like get everything set up, run up into my attic where I keep all my miscellaneous tech stuff, and it's like, oh, there was a pair. So
this is bound to be a horrible show.
It's going to be terrible. But in that vein, Len wanted to open the show with a little something for everybody. So, Len, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick. I'll try to make it real quick, and I'm boring. But if you're a new listener, stay tuned. If you're an on the fence listener or a regular listener or viewer, I just wanted to say a few things. I go back and I watch our episodes that we've already made, and mostly for a laugh because it's unscripted and it's kind of funny to see what we say and stuff like that. So, but also to maybe see where we could maybe improve a few things or come up with other ideas to be entertaining. But then I got thinking, because I saw a couple episodes and I was thinking, people that don't know us, know us, don't realize probably that we're kind of in a sense, Andy and I feel as though like we're kind of characters on this show per se. I don't want people to think for any reason that we're some, how do I want to say, arrogant a-hole douchebags that wish harm on people and that find humor in people's pain and suffering, because it's the furthest thing from the truth that I could possibly even come out with. And Andy and I, and I'm sure he'd agree that we're probably the two most down-to-earth, laid-back people that you'll ever meet that would do anything for anybody at any time. So I just didn't want to put the a-hole, because people that don't really know us would probably think, wow, these guys are... And I'll say this, one episode that stuck out is, if you've been following or if you're new, there was an episode that Andy and I and some friends were at a McDonald's years ago as teenagers, and some big hillbilly out of the blue threatened to beat us up out in the parking lot. And I said, imagine if the roles were reversed and we went out there and bounced his head off the sidewalk for 15 minutes. And when I watched that episode, I was like, that didn't sound right. It sounded like a real dick move. And I'm thinking, we're not violent guys, nor would we ever do that unless our lives depended on it. So that was one of the scenarios that I felt
it's something we joke about. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I want this show personally to be perceived as, adults don't get to be childish nearly enough. Adults don't get to act like kids, teenagers or 20-year-olds anymore. So to me, that's what I want this show to be part of, is when you tune into our show, maybe it'll give you that sense of watching your favorite cartoon as a kid in an adult version. We're being silly. We're down-to-earth normal guys, but we find things funny, and we put funny twists on, like death. I say it all the time.
Me too. Yep.
He's dead.
Yep.
Death's horrible. We don't like death, but if you can't joke about it, it will drive you insane. So, and I got laughing because the guy that drove by on his motorbike, I wouldn't go out there and throw a branch in his spokes and watch him get hurt. But we use the word imagine a lot. Our imagination, we want you to be part of it and maybe jog your own and join us in being ridiculous, childish people for whatever, half hour, 50 minutes, however long the show goes on for. So I just wanted to say that, the Three Stooges were funny. You don't stick crowbars up people's noses and bang each other over the head with sledgehammers, but that's what made the Three Stooges funny. So we're not a-holes. We're really actually kind, sensitive, fun-loving people that wear their heart on their sleeve. And we want you to join us in being silly and have a few laughs.
Just an escape.
An escape from the real world. I peed on somebody's seat in high school. I was a teenage kid. Looking back, I'm sure everybody watching had done some really stupid things, especially many years ago. looking at what kids deal with nowadays, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So just join us and be childish for an hour.
And I want to actually point out that story, we were on I don't want to say almost empty bus, but yeah, it was almost empty. I mean, he peed on a seat, but it was like he never thought that anybody was going to sit in that seat, especially since like the way it normally went on a bus was somebody sits in this seat, then probably nobody sits in another seat for like 3 or and hey, there we are.
Hey.
And so it wasn't like a premeditated, this is a full bus, somebody's going to sit in this. It was silly. Yeah. We were having a good time. And then it was like, holy shit, somebody sat there.
I didn't want to go on a long rant and try to justify. I will not,
sure.
We're not going to justify every joke that we've ever been through.
That one stood out to me. It was like,
for people that are just tuning in or on the fence or maybe have tuned in and said, the hell with these guys. That is the furthest thing that Andy and I are all about in real life. But it's fun to be childish for an hour a day, an hour a week.
And I totally agree. And Len, that was just hit that one out of the park explaining it. In retrospect or in comparison, last week I tried to talk about how I wanted this to be a good place for people to escape, and I did such a shitty job doing it that I went through and deleted that 6 minutes from the show because I fucked it up so bad, and it just sounded awful. Len, you nailed it. That was perfect.
I just felt as though we used to go on vacation, and I remember we'd act like fools. Me and I'll say a cousin of mine, and we're adults. But I remember him saying as the week went on, we went every year to the fair, and I remember him saying, "Ah, man," he's like, "The week's almost over. We're gonna have to act like adults again. We're not gonna be we can't act like 14-year-olds anymore." And that's the best way I could describe this show is a release for adults to not only laugh at stupid stuff, laugh at imaginary things, and jog your memories, silly things that you used to laugh at. And you know what? Please share them with us because we could just run with it.
We would love to hear your stories because I mean that's the one thing that when people did talk to us, have reached out to us, say, "Oh, that reminds me of this, and that reminds me of all these great times." That's what we're here for. And that's awesome.
Yeah, don't judge because we're like I said, we're basically characters acting silly for this duration, but let's roll from that. I just wanted to throw that out there.
And also, just in closing, we don't need us to elaborate off anymore, but there are stories of us picking on people. I will say we never picked on anybody we didn't love. Honestly.
I mean, good, bad, or indifferent. There's probably people out there that hate us from childhood that
and
just misunderstood us.
two again, nonviolent guys that would, if somebody went out and like threatened to hurt somebody that we were picking on, we would probably jump in and defend the guy that we were picking on because we were picking on them because we liked them.
Yeah, for the most part. And we like to be picked on back. So it was like catch-22. So
absolutely.
I just wanted to throw that out there. I wanted the people that are on the fence or that maybe even cut us out of their loop to either give us another shot or stay tuned because it's all in good humor and we wish no harm on anybody.
And I've heard people say that they've listened to our show and you can see that we've gotten better each episode. Now, each episode might not be better, but like us, our delivery, everything about it, bear with us. We're learning as we go. We're getting better, I think, as we go.
And the first one, like I say, I watched some of our episodes back and
cringeworthy. Yeah, it is cringeworthy. And that's a shame because we had really great material for that, but we were both kind of cringeworthy. But it's fun. It's fun. It's fun watching us grow. It's fun for us to go back and watch how. Oh yeah, I'm doing it better on this episode than I did like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, and be a child. Let your hair down and let yourself be childish with us for an hour a week. That's the whole part of. That's the whole point.
Yes.
So
awesome.
Fire away, Andy. What do you got going on today?
Well, I'd like to start off by offering my deepest apology for something I said in last week's show.
Oh.
The new Roadhouse movie didn't come out this past weekend.
Oh,
It comes out next weekend.
I was hoping you were going to say it was horrible. You
Nope.
son of a bitch.
Yeah, it comes out this coming weekend.
Okay.
And
Damn it.
so
I almost texted you that yesterday, but it seemed like you might have been a little busy, so I just didn't want to bother you.
it worked out well because I had a horrible weekend. So yeah. So this coming weekend, I have 2 movies that I have to see, and I will give you brief reviews next week of the new Roadhouse, which I can watch from my living room. And Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom comes out in theaters this weekend. I will go somewhere to see that. So
Is it a Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah.
Like with the Ghostbusters?
Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't
Now,
know.
Did you see the last Ghostbusters movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife?
No.
Oh,
I didn't know they made one. I mean, I was a huge fan, but I didn't know they made one.
Without ruining much, because we all know that Harold Ramis passed away.
That's yeah, I think I know. Egon, yeah.
He's also the person that wrote Caddyshack, and he wrote Animal House, National Lampoon's Animal House, and he wrote Groundhog's Day. He wrote a lot of.
Oh no!
But yeah, so
he's dead.
So his character's daughter inherited this old farm, and that's where it rolled from. And it does have the original Ghostbusters make an appearance. Not gonna lie, because I'm not gonna lie, because I am a sappy fool, but I got choked up at one part at the end of the movie. So I mean, it was that. I highly recommend the last movie because and that's on most streaming platforms.
I could be sappy and sentimental when it comes to certain movies.
And yeah, there was a part of that was like, oh, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome right there. And I choked up. But so yeah, those are coming up. Let's see here. I also did not print a lot of my stuff that I normally print. I work better reading from paper for some reason. So that was I wanted to get that off my chest. It's been weighing heavily on me. I did horrible. Did something horrible.
Yes. Look, we both sporting lids. We're both sporting new lids.
Well, I walked home in a snowstorm. Yeah. Let's see here. I walked home in a snowstorm naked. I just wanted to give you a quick update on our contest. Let's see here. No submissions. We've had no submissions.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that.
All the people that we know watch are being scarce. They're being shy.
I think people want to watch anonymously. Anonymously.
Anonymously. Maybe. Oh, we do know there's some out there. I know for a fact.
We've had people reach out. Yeah.
We've had people reach out. It's like, what are you doing? Say something, you fool. Say
something, you fool.
You idiots.
So, now we're going to go into our first expose.
Ooh,
an investigative expose into possibly, when I learned about this is Len, I don't want to oversell this.
Oh, no.
This is the biggest conspiracy in the history of humankind.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
Yep.
None of them? No birds?
Birds are not real.
So if we see them, it's just a figment of our imagination.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
But also the fuzz is coming after, we don't want people to start targeting us. So we
Andy.
There we go.
Good. Take care now. What the fuck are you talking about? Explain yourself, you idiot.
I was having technical difficulties here.
Oh, I got you.
It is believed that the initial plan for killing all of the birds and replacing them with flying cameras was thought up on a weekend in May in 1956. A gentleman named Allen Dulles was the first civilian leader of the CIA, and he hated birds with a passion. And he was heard on many occasions calling them flying slugs and the scum of the skies, as they would often poop on cars in the parking lot at the CIA headquarters. Under his plan, he wanted to wipe out the birds and replace them with drones that were very realistic looking, that would help the CIA spy on everybody. At the time, there was a big communist scare, and they were worried that there were communists infiltrating our society and our government to try to swing us to the communist side. So
And that was then.
that was 1956. The birds were wiped out and replaced with billions of sophisticated robot lookalikes capable of mimicking real birds in every way.
Wow, is that a real bird?
The CIA partnered with Boeing to build 120 B-52 bombers, and now we'll explain that in a minute. But this needed to be done in secret, so they sent 23 Boeing engineers to Area 51 in Nevada. The Boeing engineers didn't understand the secrecy of the mission and did things like painting Area 51 or bust and let's kill all the birds on the side of the old dilapidated bus that they were traveling in that was meant to be inconspicuous. 22 of the men made it to Area 51. One did not, a gentleman named Neil Ford, who was left in a Waffle House bathroom because the others grew frustrated with him because he had to pee too many times.
Oh, that'd be me.
I just left him.
Fellas, wait up. Like the big hairy guy on the end of the Muppets. Hey, guys, wait for me.
I want to go to Hollywood. Jack, not name. Jack Job.
You know what's funny? There's an old feller. We went out on a pontoon boat years ago. The whole pee-pee thing made us laugh. It's somewhat humorous. Anyways, we had to pee like every 5 minutes. The guy in the boat's like, "Oh, I'll beach it over here." There's an old fella that he would drink all day. This guy, he was a plump feller, kind of a jolly old soul. Dude, he would drink gallons of alcohol and shit, and he'd be like, "What's wrong with you people? We gotta pee again?"
All right. Show's over.
Yeah, this old feller. But when he finally peed, he'd disappear for like 45 minutes.
Well, he'd been holding it for such a long time.
So he would be a candidate to be left behind at the Waffle House.
That could be. It reminded
me him.
That kind of reminds me of there's a place, and I think that they have them everywhere. There's a place locally called the Sandbar, where you round this corner in this little small lake, and you're going around this island, and then boom, you just hit like boats, like probably tens of 20s of boats, and people are just hanging out and partying all day. And the water is about up to my chest, like it's fairly shallow, and you're just walking around drinking all day. And at one point, I leaned over to somebody. I was like, "Where do we go when we gotta pee? Do like people let us in their boats or anything?" And they're like, "You just go." I'm like,
you know
how hard that was. You train yourself your whole life not to pee your pants. So then when time comes when you're supposed to pee your pants, it's like my body won't let me. The first time, it took me quite a while to be like, I gotta pee.
I've been there, yeah. It doesn't feel natural. You want to throw in a little tidbit with that. We went out on a boat with some friends one time. It was just 4 of us, right? And we were having some cocktails. Same scenario. I was like, okay. I waited as long as I could, and I was like, I gotta take a leak. And it wasn't a boat where you could take a leak. So you were going in the drink. So not a big deal. It was summertime. I was like, going to drink. So we went to drink. And flashbacks of that bar. The woman we were with leans over the back of the boat. Baby. It doesn't sound like Pee-wee, but I like saying it. She leans over the boat within feet, because you're kind of hanging on the side of the boat so you don't drift off, trying to pee your pants in the water, and she's right there. You peeing? She asked.
So I spotted one of the people that I was with. It was one of the guys I was with his wife, and I looked over and I knew that I could tell that that's what was going on. She went over there to me, and I just started giving a. Yeah. I know what you're doing.
No, you're wrong. It's funny though how you say that, because you're in the water, you've got a bathing suit on or shorts or something, and you just can't because you're like, I'm not supposed to pee my pants.
I've been training this body my entire life not to let this happen.
Maybe when we're elderly, you'd be like, fuck it. You don't even know. You're just going to let it rip. But I mean, to bob around with your shorts on, you'd feel dumb taking your pickle out underwater.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You don't want to do that.
Pickles out. But yeah, the woman, she leaned in and asked.
Oh, the close up. No, I mean, I was at a distance at least, given the joking.
Yeah, instead of going off like in the front of the boat, you think she would have minded her business. She wanted to know, are you
Yeah.
peeing? Are you peeing? No, I'm not peeing. You bitch. I felt like saying, just go. Just
Yeah.
go. Just go. Be out there like a Bowie or wherever they are.
I'll find my own way home.
Yeah. All this stupid. That was fun.
Yes. Yes.
Ready? Yeah.
Yeah. So these 22 were charged with building a B-52 bomber with 450-gallon water tanks to replace the bomb compartments. The water tanks were hard to design. One of the 22 engineers almost gave up, but Alan Dulles hit him over the head with a 40-pound wrench to try to knock some sense into him. This put the man into a coma, and the man died.
Oh.
This scared the other 21 members into getting the job done. However, none of them were ever seen again once the planes were constructed.
Oh no, they used them as boat anchors.
The planes were all painted black so that they would camouflage in with the night sky.
Oh man.
And the water tanks were filled with special bird poison. The poison would give the birds viruses that would pass from bird to bird. Now, this escalated. I mean, the birds are already dead. What, like, how could it escalate? Well, the CIA originally didn't want the presidents to know about it from generation to generation. They were, at the time, in the 60s, sitting President John F. Kennedy had no idea what this was taking place. However, the president, hold on, I read this wrong.
Say it, you fool.
The president learned about this on October 3rd in 1963, when a top CIA official was overheard speaking about an operation over a taped phone. John F. Kennedy, the president at the time, had tapped the phone of Alvin B. Cleaver, the internal communications director for the CIA. Kennedy believed that Cleaver was stealing his ham sandwich from the White House kitchen, and he vowed to catch him speaking about it over the phone. Instead, he heard highly sensitive conversation that Cleaver was having with Dulles. It was in it. Cleaver said, "Hey, Alan, I've been stealing John's lunch again. Ha ha ha. He doesn't even know. I'm going to keep stealing his lunches until a full investigation is launched. And then I'm going to plant a hidden camera and catch his reaction when I dump the stolen sandwiches on his desk."
Okay, good.
Says, "I'm going to call this new show You've Been Cleavered." Dulles responded, "Ha ha ha, Alvin. That's going to be so funny. We'll have to play a clip on the White House Correspondents' Dinner. By the way, how's the bird slaughtering going? How many birds have we killed so far?" To which he replied, "We've killed about 220 million so far, and the best thing is the robot birds we've released in their place have done such a good job, nobody suspects a thing."
Yeah, nobody suspects the robotic birds. No.
Kennedy heard this conversation over the tap phone and immediately called both into his office. He demanded to know more about what they were discussing. They confessed. He told them to put a stop to it. They said, "Give us a chance to show you what we're doing." On October 25th, Kennedy was shown the prototype of the bird, a Turkey X500, a robot specialized in killing larger birds like eagles and falcons. The robot displayed its surveillance skills as well as its ability to find and track escaped criminals. Sorry. Anyways, Kennedy was impressed.
And he got shot. They shot him.
He told them to stop nonetheless. A month later, he was assassinated by the CIA.
Oh.
It's all part of this, Len.
Oh.
JFK was murdered by the CIA because he was against the mass murder of every feathered flying creature in the United States. He was the first and only president to stand against the murder of the birds. From Lyndon Johnson to Donald Trump to Joseph Biden, every president we've had since has turned a blind eye to the atrocities that began in 1959. After Kennedy was killed, the CIA started rigging elections. They would only allow candidates who were anti-bird and pro-citizen surveillance to win the presidency. On July 2nd of 1964, there was a secret meeting held in the Jefferson Building in Washington, D.C. The attendees were unknown, And the only evidence of the last 6-minute of evidence was a 6-minute recording that was uncovered in a basement in an isolated warehouse. In this meeting, it's believed that members of the CIA and Operation Water the Country, for short, discussed the need for heavy amounts of bauxite and amorphous clayey rock that is the chief commercial ore of aluminum. This bauxite was essential to the process of the robot construction. Where do you think the largest deposit of bauxite was, Len?
Where was the largest deposit?
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
The Vietnam War was a cover.
Oh,
We needed the bauxite to make more bird drones.
bird drones. Where are they now? Where are them bird
They're
drones?
up there.
This is bullshit.
No, Len. This
Bird
is true.
shit. Oh,
Bird shit. Yeah, that's
bird
bird
shit.
shit. Yeah,
Bird shit.
yeah, good catch.
Well, they suck because there's a lot of fucking birds out there.
I've eaten some.
Yes. Yes.
I
What about the squab you ate? Remember the squab?
mean, oh, I remember the squab.
Nothing like a fine pigeon. You idiot. That's enough of that bullshit.
Apparently, I probably ate some glass and some bauxite and
Squab.
aluminum. Yeah.
They killed the president because he was pro bird. He was pro bird. He probably had a parakeet. He had a parakeet.
I had several parakeets growing up.
Did you really? Did you
I
ever?
did.
You ever put fish hooks in there and try to bait them like a fish? Bink, bink, bink.
I loved my parakeets, Len.
Oh, you did? You love them?
I loved my parakeets.
Oh,
I had.
did you ever put one in the microwave for like 5 seconds just to see?
No.
If it would...
What do you think would happen?
Well, he'd go around in a little spinny thing. He'd love it.
Oh, that'd be so much fun to watch.
What was his name? Petey? Was he named?
Oh, I had Casey. I had Chester.
Chester be my friend.
I had Polly.
Polly.
Polly was cool because Polly danced.
Did Polly want a cracker?
She didn't really care for crackers though.
You should have
What
shot her.
And I had another one after Polly, but I don't.
Did you eat
remember
them?
her name.
Did you eventually eat them?
No.
Oh,
No, they died.
Oh no!
I know.
Who went first?
Casey. Yeah.
Oh no!
Well, that was in order. That was Casey, and then it was Chester, and then it was Polly.
Oh.
And I don't remember the last one.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I know. I think I threw each one of them off the bridge into the river.
You heartless son of a.
What are you supposed to do with them? No, I buried one.
Them.
No, I did.
The toilet, then what?
I buried one, and then something dug it up. So apparently, it was too shallow of a grave.
Yeah. Which one was it? Come on.
I believe that was Chester. I believe Chester was dug up.
Oh, Chester.
So Polly,
did you witness it, or did you just discover the empty tomb?
I discovered like bones where the sticking up and like something had pawed. So with Polly, I loved Polly. So Polly, I put in a Ziploc bag and a rock in the bottom, and I sunk Polly into the bottom of the river.
Oh yeah, he didn't get concrete shoes on Polly.
Polly sleeps with the fishes.
Yeah, you basically buried that man like a gangster.
Burial at sea. Yes, like a gangster. Yep.
Did you get a confession out of him first? Where's the cracker? Where is it?
Len, you're asking too many questions.
Yeah, I know.
Now you know too much. Now, what if you happen to have an unfortunate incident?
Go for a ride in a convertible in front of the book suppository. Here he comes.
So it was discovered that the Vietnam War was a hoax or a cover for us to get more of this material, and it was blah blah blah. We fast forward to the Cold War. The government escalated the fears of a nuclear war. All of that was a hoax during the 1960s to the 1980s as an excuse to build massive underground warehouses, and they were disguised as being bomb shelters. These facilities were so massive that hundreds of workers could fit inside and construct up to 500 robot birds per day. There were believed to be 22 of these underground manufacturing plants during the peak of construction. Yeah, that's boring. That's boring. That's boring.
Chester, come on here. Chester's dead.
Chester's dead.
He's dead.
Chester's dead.
I'm sorry, Andy. What'd you do with the birds? What do you do with birds?
Moment of silence.
Poor Chester. That's enough. That's enough silence for that stupid bird. No, we had a pal. We had a pal that had birds in it, and remember he had birds in the corner of his corner of his living room. The same guy who we said used to shrink himself down and go in the fish tank and beg for air. Oscar the Grouch when he gets sealed in for freshness.
We laughed about that for probably an hour one night, and he was not having any of it. Of course, who wants to get laughed at for an hour for anything? But he's just like, it's not funny. We're just like,
do you remember how this goes back to what my opening statement is? It was mean and stupid, and we probably shouldn't have done it. And looking back, it was rude, but it's still kind of funny in the sense is we had a friend. We were drinking one night at a friend's apartment. You shared the same parking lot with that friend.
Yes.
And we had a friend, close friend, that was, I don't know, somehow he slipped into almost like a little panic attack. I don't know what it was, but he was having like a little rough haul, and we were calling him a pirate because he shaved his head and he had the little hoop earring. And instead of consoling our friend, we picked on him relentlessly just to make him feel better. We'd give him in his ear while he was basically freaking out there. He wasn't on drugs or anything. I just remember him kind of having a rough haul. We were giving
But in the same respect, if you had flipped him with any one of us, he would have been right there having a jolly good time too. He's a guy with a great sense of humor, and he appreciates a good joke. And after the fact, he was, thought it was funny. While it was going on, probably not so much. But
we love each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, how dare you have a panic attack in front of 6 friends?
I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend. That's the worst time to have a panic attack would be in our group of friends.
But we are some of the most genuinely nice, kind people at this point in life. We were then, but you would never know.
No,
you would never know.
No, you're probably not. No.
I mean, I think of our beloved old friends and what I wouldn't give to most of them a hug and see them and all that jazz. And then you think about what we all did to each other, and it's like, I still like that guy. I miss him.
So that same apartment, and I got mad at Len and stormed out one night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
more so than our other friend though, wasn't it? There's 2 of us that you were pretty sour at. But weren't you more?
It was more you because I for some reason expected more. No, it was so how it went was one of our other friends. I think it was me, you, and our one other friend, and then the others went down the hall and were doing something. And our other friend walked over and put his ass up against the wall, and he just ripped the loudest, crackliest fart that he could. And then he turned and looked at me and yelled mine. And he's like, Andy.
Oh, yes.
And at first I was just like, oh. And all of a sudden they all come running down the hallway and they're like pointing at me. And then, which that was funny. And I was like, no, it wasn't me. And I was kind of laughing. But for the next hour and a half, I couldn't talk. If I was like, tried to chime into the conversation, Len would go, Gassy. And I was like,
he did.
All right. And then like a few minutes later, I'd be like, try to like contribute to the conversation. All the way, like, shut up, Gassy. And it was,
you were fart man that night.
It was an hour at least of anytime I tried to talk, I was cut off, pointed at, and said, Gassy, you're gassy.
I would have punched myself in the face.
Finally, I was just like, you know what? I can't even talk. Fuck this place. Fuck you guys. I'm out. I just left. I lived across the parking lot. I don't think we talked for like a week after that.
Yeah,
it was just like,
I do kind of remember that.
I was just like,
we love each other.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
gassy.
And it's just what we were talking about with our other friend. It was like maybe an hour of picking on.
There was a lot of times where we went on way too long with the pickings, but
we did it to each other. We weren't doing this so much to other people. It was like it was just to us, Yeah,
we were, but and then again in an imaginary kind of fun-loving way.
Yes.
Hey, fuck
Yes.
you, Andy. Fuck you, you gassy hog.
Yes.
You know, that's like I got laughing too. I was thinking, so people are gonna watch an episode and think this guy peed at a bar in the middle of this bar slash restaurant. But the funny thing is, not that it justifies anything, but this bar had a concrete floor that you stick to. I won't give it away what the place was, but a lot of young fellers hang out there. There's probably fights and teeth swept up at the
Oh
end
yeah.
of the night. So I wouldn't go, like I said, to the Texas Roadhouse or something and pee at the bar.
I guarantee that this floor had been puked on.
Oh yes, many
Would
times.
absolutely guarantee that. It's a bar in a college town. You know,
Yeah,
it's
it was a stinky little mess anyway. So I figured, you know what? Because of the guy and his nosy kid, I gotta pee. So I peed, and you loved it.
I
You
did. It's still one of my favorite stories.
Mine too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would have made do if we were at a place a little more classy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do it now either. But I'm just saying, I'm not justifying anything. I think it's funny. It was funny then, and still funny now.
Well, we're in our 40s now. It takes too long for us to pee now to get that. Back then, there were quick pees. You know,
I'm not gonna wait all this time to go pee. Now you're playing out the pee-pee. You're like, you know what? I know after this. Of course, I haven't had a beer in years, but it's like water. You know, you gotta pee. It's like, you know what? You make it an adventure. Remember, I used to pass 6 good bathrooms to pee outside.
He did. I always gave Len a hard time about this. He'd be in his own home.
Yeah.
He'd walk past the bathroom to go whip outside and
yeah, it's just freedom.
Len likes to pee outdoors.
Yeah, it's just one of them things, you know. You ever poop outdoors, Andy? Have you ever personally pooped outdoors? That's the question today.
Probably when I was a kid. Camping.
Oh, don't try to sugarcoat it.
I know. If I had a funny story, I would.
Oh, you have. You've pooped outside. Say it.
Probably. Yeah, probably when I was
around
a kid.
the bush.
I don't remember. I don't remember any specific instances.
Andy.
But I'm sure camping I probably did.
Say it. He did. Look at him. I
don't know. If I have you, Len?
Yes.
I know you have. You sent me pictures of it.
I could probably tell some horrible stories about some poop.
Yeah.
Well, hold back. You know, we just went down the whole road. Let's let the crowd break in a while. Maybe on episode 20, I'll tell you some of the funny things I did as a kid.
Sure.
We don't want to scar everybody right out of the gate. We're trying to build some kind of rapport here. But there are some funny ones. I mean, they're fucked up and funny, yeah. Just saying. I wasn't always the role model citizen I am today. Just saying.
Our first catchphrase.
Yeah.
Yep.
What were you saying? You said something different.
I said fine upstanding citizen.
Fine outstanding. Now that's stretching it.
I know. I got our own catchphrase wrong.
Yeah. I was like, what an idiot. What else you got? Who are you going to wrap her up, or you
just going to finish up this quickly? The fast forward to the Cold War. Talked about. Anyways, when it comes right down to it, it's still happening. It was said that when President Trump wanted to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico, it was not really to stop people from crossing into the U.S. The wall was going to be built with thousands of microwave guns. These guns could track and disable the birds when they mistakenly crossed the border.
More about the birds. You went back to the bird.
I did. That was our expose. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody should know that don't trust these things because they're drones.
Now, if you see a pterodactyl go over, you don't know if it's a military operation or you should shoot the son of it.
Be alarmed if you see a pterodactyl fly over. That would be a prehistoric dinosaur.
You never know. Yeah,
raptor.
Imagine if they screwed up and they brought back some like endangered species that you shouldn't be flying. What the fuck?
But the whole Cold War thing reminded me. The Cold War. You know, we ended the Cold War effectively when Rocky defeated Ivan Drago and Rocky IV. Yeah. That was it. Even the prime minister of the Soviet Union stood up and applauded him. The Cold War was over. We loved each other. And then in Creed 2, Apollo Creed's son defeated Ivan Drago's son in a boxing match, and the Russians were like, fuck this. We gave it to you once. Now you're trying to rub it in and do it again. Now Cold War's back on. Now we're feuding with Russia again. It was all because of Creed 2. Rocky 4 solved the problem.
Yeah. Bring Rocky back. He's not dead yet.
He's not dead.
Picture the fight between him and Ivan today.
So they apparently cut out a scene where they got into where Rocky and Ivan Drago would have gotten into a tussle in the hallway of the hospital. And apparently they filmed it. They weren't happy with it. They cut it.
Get him out of the hospital. The fight's over. The fight's over. There's no easy way out.
In the movie, the first match, Drago's son put Creed's son in the hospital.
Oh, I see.
Oh, you didn't watch the movie?
I think I saw most of it.
So there's their history lesson on the Cold War. Ended with Rocky 4, started up again with Creed 2.
And if anybody knows who Mr. T is, get yourself a poster of him now, not then.
Not then?
Now, okay. Not then. You ever see pictures of Mr. T now?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody needs a poster of Mr. T now.
There's not really anything imposing about.
And if anybody knows the Van Halen, they were actually a little bit before our time, but I'm thinking, if you remember David Lee Roth back then, you should see his Frank Purdue head. He looks like a baby bird stripped of his feathers. Actually a baby bird without their feathers. If you look at, he looks David Lee Roth back then. He had the long curly hair and he jumped around and kicked.
Well, people thought he was sexy. Yeah. He thought he was sexy.
Now he looks like an ostrich. He looks like an ostrich, Andy. See, it all comes back to the birds.
A drone? He looks like a drone?
You look up David Lee Roth and Mr. T. You need a poster of Mr. T now, and you have to look up David Lee Roth. Please look up David Lee Roth now.
Now this
he might as well jump.
We're gonna try something here. Hold on. I don't know how all this is gonna work. Hold on. No, come on.
Hurry up, you idiot.
No, I don't think it's gonna work. I thought I could share screen.
You were going to show us the bird.
I was going to show. No, I was going to show you the bird. But
David Lee Roth looks like an ostrich. He does. I'm not picking too hard because hey, we're all getting older and we're not going to look like we did when we were 20. But if that transition happens, I would stay home a lot more often.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at him and says, "Hey, there's Diamond Dave."
I'd probably stay home and start a podcast.
Oh yes.
Would wear a visor.
You would wear a visor. Look at him round in the ninth hole. What an idiot!
Yeah.
Well, that was fun, Andy.
That was a good time. Yeah, I think very well done.
Good stuff.
I like to point out I have not this weekend, but next weekend is my big run. If anybody finds themselves in Potsdam, New York on Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, come and watch me crawl across the finish line, probably around 11 to 11:20, somewhere in that time frame. If things go well, 11:30, I'm having a bad day. But
bring your BB guns and
that might speed me along. Actually,
stones. Yeah, run behind you, but. Run!
Trivia coming up on Thursday to raise money for a good cause. I'll give you a rundown of how that plus the two movies I mentioned, and so we got a jam-packed show next week leading into my run, and then after that, I'll give you a recap of how the run went.
That sounds good, Andy. You close us out any way you like.
All right. I will close this out by saying, I don't know.
Say it.
I don't know. No.
Say it, you idiot.
Drive fast. Stay to the left. Never play leapfrog with a unicorn. And remember to always keep on keeping on.